The scenes of host community members exchanging blows at the House of Reps public hearing of the Petroleum Industry Bill is still trending. Why did they have to settle their matters with their fists? Could it be that they do not have confidence in the bill? And will the National Assembly capture all their concerns and agitations? Plus, finally, President Muhammadu Buhari seeks Senate confirmation of service chiefs. What is the implication of this? The Deputy Leader of the Senate joins me later to put this in perspective. This is the Hala Chambers. I am Tijesu Adiri. Pandemonium broke during the House of Reps public hearing of the Petroleum Industry Bill. Members of the host communities were at each other's throats because of what appeared to be irreconcilable differences. It took the intervention of security officers to restore peace. We had a chat with the chairman ad hoc committee on the PIB, Mohammed Mongono.
The issue of host communities. Already 2.5% of the operating cost of oil companies is reserved directly for the host communities. Is to be administered by board of trustees that will be set up by the host communities. But that notwithstanding, like Oliver Twist, the host communities are still demanding for more. They are demanding for at least 10%. And then one other thing that we have also come to learn based on the presentation by stakeholders is the need to unbundle the NNPC. Because NNPC, as it is presently constituted, is playing the dual role of a marketer and a regulator in the sector, which does not augur well for transparency and competitiveness. And therefore, there is a need for a regulator in the sector. Instead of articulating and aggregating their opinion and interests and coalesce it into a single opinion or document, the host communities were having multiplicity of representation. You have a situation where in a single host community, oil producing community, you will have two representation. And then when you call them to make their submission, two representations will come out from a single community. Or one organization will say they are representing the whole of the Niger Delta, or they are the umbrella body for the whole of the host communities in the oil producing areas. So that is what brought about the confusion. So immediately we called one organization that has submitted its memoranda. Two groups came out to be representing that organization. And in the process, fracas ensued and then exchange of blows and what have you. And as you rightly pointed out, nearly marred the public hearing. But my advice is that most of the representation made by the host communities are the same. That is, they are not in agreement with the 2.5% of the operating costs of oil companies to be given to the host communities. They are clamoring for at least 10%. That is the major demand that they are put forward of all the host communities. We have already told them that in our program, we are visiting the host communities to go and see things for ourselves. When we go to visit them in their respective locations and see things for ourselves, there they can present all their grievances and their opinion on the PIB. And that is why we said for now, they should come out, identify themselves, and then adopt their memoranda. The oil companies, the OPTS and other groups, the government people, government representatives, that is the only opportunity to hear them. This is the only opportunity that we have to hear them. But the host communities, we are visiting them in their respective locations.
In an unprecedented move, President Muhammadu Buhari now seeks the Senate's confirmation of the newly appointed service chiefs. The appointment may have also ended a prolonged agitation for a new security strategy in the country. Joining me to discuss some of these issues is the Deputy Senate Leader and the Senator representing Ondo North Senatorial District, Ajayi Boroface. While lawmakers were away, quite a number of things happened. I'm sure if plenary were to be in session, some of these things would have been brought to the floor of the parliament, starting with the appointment of new service chiefs. How do you see this new development?
Well, I think this is a good thing. We have interacted with them on several occasions. We have taken motions on the floor of Senate asking that the service chiefs should be asked to go, and that new ones should be appointed. I have video clips showing jubilation in some barracks, in the Navy and in the Army barracks, jubilation when Mr. President made this announcement. I think it's a relief to many of us because we believe that with new hands, there'll be new ideas, there'll be re-engineering of the security, issue, and we are hoping that their tenure will usher in relief to Nigerians in the area of security concerns in the nation. So we are happy that Mr. President has taken that decision, and we also believe that those who have been appointed will definitely prove themselves, and there is a lot of confidence being reposed in them now by this appointment, and we hope that they will not disappoint the country, they will not disappoint Mr. President, who is the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces.
Okay, recently we understand that the President is now seeking the approval of the Senate as regards this new appointment of service chiefs. This is actually the first time this is happening. Now all eyes are on the National Assembly to ensure that, they ensure that this set of people perform optimally. What is the yardstick the Senate will be using, or rather the National Assembly will be using, to measure their competence?
Well, the issue of competence is not anything I can talk about, but we have a set of criteria when we screen public officers for appointment who have been nominated by Mr. President. However, I think the issue of service chiefs is very, very clear. We have on our front burner the issue of security. We want to ask them, because during the screening exercise, we ask them, what will be their plan in addressing the issue of security? What will be their plan, both internal and external security? There are rumors going around about the compromise within the military. We want to find out what would be their attitude, and they should give us their words. And we'll take, because from time to time we'll continue to monitor them. We have Senate Committee on Defense, we have Senate Committee on Navy, we have Senate Committee on Army, we have Senate Committee on Air Force, and we'll do our oversight. This is the time we should be more serious about our oversight to monitor the activities. So we'll give them a performance check to see how they can do the job that they have been assigned now. It's a very critical time in the history of our nation, and much is expected of them.
All right. Surprisingly, with the level of insecurity in the country, we had the Minister of Information in person of Lai Mohammed saying the country is safer now than it was in 2015. Do you agree with his position?
Well, I won't say I agree or disagree with Lai Mohammed. One thing is certain, is that there's a lot of insecurity in the nation, and everybody is concerned, because only a secure nation can be prosperous. Where there's no security, there cannot be prosperity. However, it depends on the perspective with which Lai Mohammed is looking at it. Prior to this time, what the nature of the insecurity was in bombing. Many places were being bombed, United Nations bombed, churches being bombed, which resulted into mass killing. That has ceased. What is going on now is a very serious one, and it has to be taken seriously, because it has almost paralyzed the economic activity. Farmers cannot go to their farms. People are afraid to even travel on the roads. So it's a very serious issue, and I think the important thing is not to compare as such, but to redouble our effort in ensuring that this menace is addressed.
So we'll go on a short break. We'll be right back. If you're just joining us, we have been speaking to the Deputy Senate Leader of the 9th Senate, and he is Senator Ajayi Boroface. So, sir, the Senate has agreed to maintain the cordial relationship it enjoys with the executive, but over time we've seen that some heads of parastatals and agencies have, abused this privilege. Would this affect this relationship, this smooth relationship that the Senate or the National Assembly enjoys with the executive?
No, it wouldn't, because both the executive and the legislature are committed to having peaceful relationship, because we have a government, 3 arms of government: the judiciary, the executive, and the legislature. And we are all members of the federal government. So it is the interest of government for us to work together. Yes, we had some unfortunate incidences during budget hearing, but they are not major issues. We have resolved it, and I'm sure it will never happen again. It's true that some of us are very zealous about the issue of budget, and some of the people coming from the executive are too sensitive to questions that we raise. But I can assure you that our concerns during budget hearing are right, and also the sensitivity of these people are also understandable. We are not, nobody, when you come for budget hearing, you are not under any probe. Nobody is probing you. We just want to find out how you are going to use money appropriated for your project, so that when we do oversight function, it will be easier to assess what you have done. So it's not a probe, but some people think we are probing them. So
let's talk about the COVID-19 pandemic, which is a major concern to many. How satisfied are you with the response plan of the government so far?
Well, what I'm happy about, because I was in the 7th Senate, I was in the 8th Senate, and this is my 3rd time to return to Senate. I think this assembly has been very wonderful. We have not resorted to say, we are making laws. So, but we have gotten ourselves involved in the activities of government. We have met with the PTF several occasions, that's the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, to make sure that they are doing the right thing in the interest of Nigerians. The last meeting we had to discuss the issue of vaccine. What type of vaccine are we going to bring to the country? What is the infrastructure on ground to receive those vaccines? There are some vaccines that you cannot leave them into room temperature. So do we have facilities to receive them right at the airport? Then from the airport, do we have facility to transport them to safe storage? Then do we have facility to transport them from storage to the Nigerians where we're going to? So these are the issues. We went into those details. And we have been assured by the PTF that every action will be taken to ensure that we have vaccines that are effective, that are affordable, and that are efficacious, and also that will be safe. So we have that assurance. And from time to time, we do meet with them. I'm sure as soon as we convene, we are going to meet with them again. And we're also ensuring that there's adequate budgetary provision, to purchase the vaccines.
Officials of the Presidential Task Force for COVID-19 also assured Nigerians that these vaccines will get to Nigeria within the first month of 2021. But the month is almost over and we are not seeing any signs of any vaccine. Is this of any concern to you?
Well, not much, because I know the committee met on Monday. Of course, I'm not aware of the outcome of the deliberations, but I think efforts are being made that even if we are late, we will not be too late. This is a global pandemic, and this is a market where everybody is going to. So, and even in the advanced countries, they are not having sufficient vaccine to administer in the US. So, and we don't manufacture vaccines. So we have a big problem in that area. But I know that the committee is up and doing to make sure that we have vaccines for Nigerians.
A lot of people, despite all assurances given, a lot of people are still concerned of how safe these vaccines are. And you're saying that it's going to be a leadership by example thing. And we want to see our leaders take these vaccines first before we take it. So are we going to see you being the first partaker of this vaccine?
I'll be ready. I'm a geneticist, and I taught immunology, when I was in the university. So I know the whole story about immune vaccine production. The vaccine that they are producing now is different from the traditional one, which is attenuated virus, which we now inject. Here, we are using messenger RNA, we are using various other techniques that are more robust than what we have. There will be individual reaction, even to vaccine, just like you take any drug. Some people will react to chloroquine, while others will not react to it. So, but if the vaccines are available today, I will take. So I won't run away from it.
We want to see that happen.
Oh yes, I hope they start with us.
Of course, I hope so too. Let's talk about constituency projects and what you have done for the people of Ondo State. I'm aware that there is currently an ongoing project, a primary school project that you are, engaged in currently. Tell us more about that.
Well, I think we cannot even have enough time to discuss my
Let's start from somewhere.
Yeah, you see, when we started distributing motorbikes, keke napep, and I discovered that while you are giving these keke napeps and the motorbikes to beneficiaries, there's a truck waiting, by the side for somebody who is buying all of them. So, keke napep you bought for 50,000, they sell it for 30,000. So, you are not getting getting the benefit from it. So I said, look, I'm not going to give fish to these people. I will teach them how to fish. One of the highlights of my project is building skill acquisition centers, and I have 5 already. And these 5 acquisition centers, we are going to train people in leather technology to make shoes, bags, backpacks, belts, all those things, And we train them. We train the trainers, then we train them. We have made facility for them. Once you graduate, there's a place where you can start off as a start-off, on your own as an entrepreneur. And then we will start you off with life and help you get some financial support. So we are doing laser technology, we are doing in cosmetology, we are doing in software development and coding, we are doing in fabrication. So in fact, what we are thinking of is to start an academy so that can have a lasting effect. We are building hospitals. We completed one that's been working for almost 2 years, and it's been affiliated to the Federal Medical Center. Right now, we are building about 4. The first one we built, we are increasing the bed space to 26. So we're building hospitals, and they are being affiliated with Federal Medical Center, which is very good. Because before you move from one end of the Central District to the Federal Medical Center in Owo, a lot of things can happen. We are building some plants. We started one, what we call cassava catalytic plant in one of the major areas, and we're going to produce starch, we're going to produce gari, we're going to produce ethanol from the same plant. So that is ongoing. We are building schools. It becomes a normal thing because we believe that education to us is very important. We not only build schools, we also provide furniture for these schools. Currently, we are building one in Afo, we are building one in Owani, we are building one in Imeri. And we are fencing schools so to provide security for the. We are equipping them with laboratory equipment. Right now in Akuno, we are building a modern laboratory in one of the secondary schools. So we are apart from, this addition to providing street lights, providing transformers, providing solar-powered boreholes, and even hand-pumped boreholes, various wards. And I think my emphasis has shifted to providing, my people fish, but provide them with, how to make fish so that they can stand on their own.
So if I may ask, how can you put a figure to the cost of this project?
Wow, it's very difficult. The catalytic plant we are building in Ogbagi, the contract has just been awarded for 172 million. So it's huge. The hospital we are building is costing us about maybe 150 million. Apart from the hostel we are building for doctors and nurses. So it varies, depending on the project you are, doing. But we are lucky to have, people who are agencies that are very honest and they're ready to work with us. And I'm serving, my own attitude is that I'm the Ashwaji of Akoko land. You know what that means. So I'm not just in politics to make money, and people think. I'm there to serve my people. Because this is a title I have till I die. And the legacy I leave behind is very important.
Of course. So
that is why I'm putting everything possible to make sure that my people feel the impact of my representation in Senate.
That's our program for this week. Do join us again next week for another episode. Also follow us on all our social media platforms to get fresh updates. Follow me on Twitter. My handle is @TJSuAdeoyeTVC. Thank you for watching. See you next time.